The accused persons in the matter include Chris Obore, the former Director Communications and Public Affairs Parliament, Adilo Daniel, former Director Human Resource, Okema Leonard, former Director Secretary Office of the Speaker of Parliament, Rajabokaya Semalulu, former Principal Research Officer, Okwi Emmanuel Emrun, former Capacity Development Officer Parliament, Munebe Methods, Chief Executive Officer, Uganda Parliamentary Corporation Savings and Credit Society Limited SACCO, and Stella Ahatute. The accused who appeared in court today for mention of the case, prosecution informed court that investigations are complete in the matter and asked court to commit the accused to High Court for a full trial. In the indictment read to the accused, prosecution alleges that the 7 and others still at large during the period of 2023 in Parliament of Uganda, Kampala District, received funds for donations and corporate social responsibility activities of Parliament of Uganda, but did not implement the activities, knowing or having reasons to believe that their acts will cause financial loss to the government of Uganda of over 27 billion Ugandan shillings.
As they were in the charge sheet, count 1 of embezzlement is against Chris Obore. The particulars relate to the 5,253,100,000 shillings as at grade. The alternative count the indictment, the embezzlement has an alternative count. Do it from the top. So count 1 of the indictment is in respect of Chris Obore. It's embezzlement contrary to Section 18 of the Anti-Corruption Act. The particulars are that Chris Obore between January 2023 and May 2026 in the Parliament of Uganda, while employed as Director Communications and Public Affairs at the Parliament of Uganda, stole 5,253,100,000 shillings only, being the property of your employer, to which you had access by virtue of your office. The alternative count to that is causing financial loss contrary to Section 19 of the Anti-Corruption Act. The particular and May 2026 in the Parliament of Uganda, Kampala, received 5,253,100,000 shillings for donations and corporate social responsibility activities of the Parliament of Uganda, which you did not implement, knowing or having reason to believe that this would cause financial loss to the government of Uganda. Count 2 is of embezzlement in respect of Adilo. The particulars are that Adilo Daniel, between January 2023 and May 2026, in the Parliament of Uganda, while employed as Director Human Resource at the Parliament of Uganda, stole 14,110,750,000, being the property of your employer, to which you had access by virtue of your office. There's an alternative count to that, it's causing financial loss. The particulars are that Adilo Daniel, between January 2023 and May 2026, in the Parliament of Uganda, received 14,110,750,000 for donations and corporate social responsibility activities of Parliament of Uganda, which you did not implement, knowing or having reason to believe that this would cause financial loss to the government of Uganda. Settlement in respect of Okema Leonard. The particulars are that Okema Leonard, between January 2023 and May 2026 in Parliament of Uganda, while employed as Executive Secretary in the Office of the Speaker of the Parliament of Uganda, stole 3,800,000 889,400,000 shillings, being the property of your employer to which you had access by virtue of your office. The alternative count is of causing financial loss. The particulars are that Okema Leonard, between January 2023 and May 2026 in Parliament of Uganda, received 3,889,400,000 shillings for donations and corporate social responsibility activities of the Parliament of Uganda, which you did not implement, knowing or having reason to believe that this would cause financial loss to the government of Uganda. Count 4, in respect of Rajab Kaya Semalulu, so the embezzlement contrary to Section 18 of the Anti-Corruption Act. The particulars are that between January 2023 and May 2026 in the Parliament of Uganda, while employed as Principal Research Officer at the Parliament of Uganda, stole 1,870,108,000 shillings, being the property of your employer to which you had access by virtue of your office. The alternate count to that is causing financial loss, contrary to Section 19 of the Anti-Corruption Act. The particulars are that Rajab Kaya Semalulu, between January 2023 and May 2026 in the Parliament of Uganda, received 1,870,108,000 for donations and corporate social responsibility activities of the Parliament of Uganda, which you did not implement, knowing or having reason to believe that this would cause financial loss to the government of Uganda. Count 5, in respect of Okwi Emmanuel Emron. Count 5 is of embezzlement contrary to Section 18 of the Anti-Corruption Act. The particulars are that Okwi Emmanuel Emron, between January 2023 and May 2026 in Parliament of Uganda, while employed as Principal Protocol Officer of the Parliament of Uganda, stole 1,105,000,000, being the property of your employer to which you had access by virtue of your office. The alternate count to that is causing financial loss contrary to Section 19 of the Anti-Corruption Act. The particulars are that Okwi Emmanuel Emron, between January 2023 and May 2026, the Parliament of Uganda received 1,105,000,000 for donations and corporate social responsibility activities of the Parliament of Uganda, which you did not implement, knowing or having reason to believe that this would cause loss to the government. Count 6 is in respect of Tebata incident. So the embezzlement contrary to Section 18 of the Anti-Corruption Act. The particulars are that between January 2023 and May 2026, the Parliament of Uganda, while employed as Capacity Development Officer at the Parliament of Uganda, stole 502,534,000, being the property of your employer to which you had access by virtue of your employment. The alternate count to that is causing financial loss contrary to Section 19(1) of the Anti-Corruption Act. The particulars are that Otebata Vincent, between January 2023 and May 2026 in Parliament of Uganda, received 502,534,000 shillings for donations and corporate social responsibility activities of the Parliament, which you did not implement, knowing or having reason to believe that this will cause financial loss to the government of Uganda. Count 7 of false accounting by a public officer is in respect of Chris Ariko Obore. The particulars are that between January 2023 and May 2026 in Parliament of Uganda, while employed as Director Communications and Public Affairs at the Parliament of Uganda, being charged with the management of 2,578,000,000 for donations and corporate social responsibility activities, knowingly furnished false accountabilities for the same. Count 8 of money laundering in respect of Obore methods.
Prosecution also alleges that the 7 and others still at large during the period of January 2023 to April 2026 in Parliament of Uganda, Kampala District, in their respective offices, processed, approved and received over 10 billion Ugandan shillings, knowing at the time of processing and receipt, the said funds were proceeds of crime.
Count 8 of money laundering contrary to Section 119 and 139 of the Anti-Money Laundering Act. The particulars are that Obore methods between January 2023 and April 2026 at Uganda Parliamentary Cooperative Savings and Credit Society Limited, while employed as Chief Executive Officer of the said society, assisted Okema Leonard, Chris Ariko Obore, Adilo Daniel, Kayarajab Semalulu, and Otevata Vincent, all being employees of Parliament to benefit from known proceeds of crime disguised as personal loans or savings. Count 9 in respect of all the other accused persons of money laundering contrary to Section 119 and 139 of the Anti-Money Laundering Act, Act 118. The particulars are that Okema Leonard, Obore, Ariko Chris, Adilo Daniel, Kayarajab Semalulu, Okwi and Otevata Vincent between January 2023 and April 2026 at the Parliament of Uganda, while employed as Executive Secretary, Office of the Speaker, Director Communications and Public Affairs, Director Human Resource, Principal Research Officer, Principal Protocol Officer, and Capacity Development Officer, respectively, all of the Parliament of Uganda, jointly and severally acquired, possessed, used and administered a total of 10,497,742,000 shillings, disguised as personal loans or savings, knowing at the time of receipt that this money was proceeds of crime. And this is the summary of the case. The Inspector of Government will adduce evidence at the trial to prove the following: that between 2023 and May 2026, A1, Mr. Chris Ariko Obore served as a public service as the Director of Communications and Public Affairs of the Parliament of Uganda. Mr. Dilo served as Director of Human Resource at the Parliament. Mr. Kema served as Executive Secretary to the Office of the Speaker. Mr. Rajab as Principal Research Officer at the Parliament of Uganda. Mr. Okwi served as Principal Protocol Officer, Parliament of Uganda. Mr. Otevata Vincent served as Capacity Development Officer at the Parliament of Uganda. And Mr. Obore Methods served in the Uganda Parliamentary Cooperative Savings and Credit Society as the Chief Executive Officer. 2023 and May 2026, Mr. Chris Obore received a total of 5,253,100,000 for donations and corporate social responsibility activities of the Parliament of Uganda, but neither implemented the activities nor returned the money to Parliament. That Mr. Adilo Daniel received 14,110,750,000 shillings for donations and corporate social responsibility activities of the Parliament of Uganda, but neither implemented the activities nor returned the money. Mr. Okema received 3,889,400,000 shillings for donations and corporate social responsibility activities, neither implemented the activities nor returned the money. That Mr. Rajab Kaya Semalulu received 1,870,108,000 shillings for donations and corporate social responsibility activities of the Parliament, but neither implemented them nor returned the money. That Mr. Okwi Emron received a total of 1,105,000,000 for donations and corporate social responsibility activities for Parliament of Uganda, but neither implemented the activities nor returned the money to Parliament. Mr. Otebata received 502,534,000 shillings for fuel, subsistence allowance and transport refund for external participants in the Central Region's stakeholder engagement, but neither implemented the activities nor returned the money. So Obore, Mr. Adilo Daniel, Mr. Okema Leonard, Mr. Rajab Kaya Semalulu, Mr. Opi Emmanuel Vincent, and Mr. Otevata Vincent, in their various capacities as employees of Parliament, received a total of 26,805,892,000 shillings for donations, corporate social responsibility and engagement activities of the Parliament of Uganda, but did not implement the activities, knowing or having reason to believe that their actions would cause financial loss to the government of Uganda, and indeed caused financial loss of that amount to the government of Uganda.
Prosecution will depend on evidence from beneficiaries in the circle from Gulu, Moroto, Bukedia, Lango, Mukono, Kampala, Adjumani, among other parts of the country.
Mr. Chris Ariko Obore was charged with the management of 2,578,000,000 for donations and corporate social responsibility activities, but he knowingly furnished false accountabilities for the same. That Mr. Murebe Methods, in his capacity as Chief Executive Officer of the Parliamentary Circle, assisted Okema Leonard, Chris Ariko Obore, Adilo Daniel, Rajab, and Otebata, all being employees of Parliament to benefit from known proceeds of crime disguised as personal loans or savings. That between 2023 and May 2026, Mr. Okema Leonard, Mr. Chris Obore, Mr. Adilo Daniel, Mr. Rajab Semalulu, and Mr. Otebata Vincent were employed as Chief Executive Secretary, Communications and Public Affairs, a Director of Human Resource, Principal Research Officer, Capacity Development Officer, all at the Parliament of Uganda, jointly and severally acquired, possessed, used and administered a total of 10,497,742,000 disguised as personal loans or savings, knowing that at the time of receipt, this money was proceeds of crime. And the prosecution shall adduce witnesses from the following areas: Commission, in the Parliament of Uganda, the Parliamentary Circle, Bank of Uganda, Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, Centenary Bank, Absa Bank, PFCU Bank, Stanbic Bank, Cairo Bank, Inspectorate of Government, Directorate of Government and Political Laboratory, Uganda Police, all alleged beneficiaries from the districts of Kedia, Ngora, Umi, Serere, Kalisa, Mbale, Pole, Kitgum, Amuru, Agabo, Amdat, Amoria, Katakwi, Ulu, Moroto, Mukono, Kwe, Rakai, Arua, Koboko, Yumbe, Moyo, Adjumani, and Madio Polo, Soroti, Kapelabiong, and any others with a leave of court. And the following documents shall be adduced for the trial. The employment documents for the accused persons, the approved budgets for the Parliamentary Commission for Vote 104, financial years 2022, 23 and 25-26, requisitions which doubled as payment vouchers for the funds in issue, accountabilities as attached by some payment vouchers, personal loan agreements between the accused persons and the circle, bank statements of the Parliamentary Commission's operations account, which is indicated as you find it in the indictment, bank statement of the Parliamentary Circle, if missed payments, payment registers for the Parliamentary Commission for the financial years mentioned, payment register for the Treasury Single Account of Parliament, bank statement for the accused persons, bank inspection orders, waste checks, correspondences from the Clerk of Parliament, loan documents from the Parliamentary Circle, requests from Fred to Sarah dated 19th June 2026, a letter dated 20th July 2026 with a reference HQT CO 314224 from CPA Sarah Magola to Mr. Frederick Okech. Audit report on the file for investigations into the donations and corporate social responsibility expenditure of the Speaker. Audit report on the file for investigations into donations and corporate social responsibility expenditure of the Speaker of the 11th Parliament for the period 2023 to 26. Request for expert opinion dated 26th June 2026. Document examiner of the Uganda Police. Accountability documents as presented by A1 and any other documents with the leave of court. And upon that, the prosecution shall contend that you do not have a valid defense or lawful excuse to the charges, and they will pray to the court to convict you as charged. So with that,
among the exhibits to be relied on in this case include documents for the Circle, Bank of Uganda, Abusa Bank, Stanbic Bank, Parliament of Uganda, Uganda Police, and exhibits from the Inspectorate of Government Office. However, prosecution has withdrawn Stella Atute from the charge sheet since she's nowhere to be seen. Last week, the same court issued a warrant of arrest against Stella Atute upon sight by security operatives, although since then her whereabouts are not known. The case will be back for mention on 18th August 2026, and the accused Chris Obore and others were further remanded to Ruzira Government Prison.